A huge factor in your gameplay experience of Lost Records Bloom and Rage is if Kat is possessed or if Corey is driven mad. And it's not just the endings, but kind of your entire experience in tape 1 and tape 2. It's one of the most exciting things I think there is about this game because it's just such a different experience and very exciting for me to test. So I will have a video that shows you all of the differences between these two, but it's a lot and it definitely will not fit into only one video. So this one is going to focus on how you get each of these sort of, I guess, endings with each of them. And then we'll have another video that shows you all the variations along the way, depending on where you sit within the buckets at the time of those variations. Okay, let's just get to the actual choices that affect things. Starting with a very complicated one that will probably be pretty obvious to most of you. In chapter 5 of tape 1, what do you do with Dylan and the balloon?
What are you doing?
I first hypothesized that each blooming choice would be a point for one path or the other, but testing is inconclusive on that theory at this time.
Seriously?
You probably don't have to think about it in too much depth, though. If you got aggressive, you're going to be on the Kat path. If you got apologetic, you're going to be on the Corey path, and neutral, you're most likely right in the middle. And testing has shown that there is a large point difference between aggressive and apologetic toward the path you'd like. Now we're going to skip all the way to chapter 13, and there are a lot more choices before that. Yes, I did test all of these choices with known checkpoints, one at a time. Sometimes a choice here would affect the path, and sometimes it wouldn't. Since they only showed a minimal effect, and the margin of error is too large to confirm or deny their impact, I wouldn't worry about these choices so much and focus on the larger, confirmed, impactful choices.
Want me to get it?
But at the end of chapter 13, choose Stand Back, I'll Get It for a small push down the Kat path.
Stand back.
Yes, choices that show Swan is taking control are shown to favor Kat's possession. Choices that let Kat do the work are more helpful for the Corey path.
Should've let me do it.
Not sure what's worse, the slimy shrooms or the animal bones.
If you help Autumn and choose Bones, it seems to give an extra point towards Kat's possession.
We named our hideout, remember?
In chapter 16, you have the option to name your cabin as Fawn's Rest. That will lead you toward Corey's path, or Fawn's Curse will lead you towards Kat. And I think that makes sense. It's a little bit more, opening for the mystical world to possess you. Now, chapter 18 in tape 1, as you would expect, has quite a few choices that assist with one path or the other. Some of them really push it one way. Some of it, just might be a point or two. And another, kind of surprising that it doesn't seem to affect it at all.
You ever wanted to, lay a curse on someone?
If you answer, who would you curse, Kat? You're deflecting. You're not rebellious. You're not spooky. That's going to help you with the Corey path. But if you picked, I'd curse someone, that's definitely going to put you on the Kat possessed.
We deserve payback.
Next, what was the curse about? And this one seems to make a big difference in points. So I would pay a lot of attention to this one. Justice is, I guess you'd say the right moral choice here. So that's not going to push you into the, ripe for possession side of things. That's going to be on the Corey gets driven mad side. But of course, if you picked the curse was about vengeance, that definitely will. You're talking aggression, rebellion, and lots of rage, right?
It felt almost like an incantation.
Okay, next. What were the lyrics to the songs? Are you going to swear? Because that's naughty. So that's going to lead you into the more rebellious side of things, the Kat path, okay? But if you chose not to swear in the lyrics, that will, kind of keep you on the Corey side if that's the direction you're going.
See you in hell.
Now, very strangely enough, I was expecting a huge point difference if you chose to do the blood oath, and I didn't see any. Yes, I did entirely too many tests with this choice alone. Positive I had made a mistake in my tracking, but oddly, it didn't seem to matter. So that was surprising to me. It obviously does affect a lot of other things in the game, so, fine, but this seemed like it would definitely affect your, ability to be possessed. I still believe this must have an effect, so let me know if you found something in your testing. Okay, chapter 20 is kind of a fun, maybe unexpected one.
Truth or dare.
Testing has shown that if you pick dare, you're a little bit more slanted to the violent side. And that makes sense. You just went into a bathroom and, channeled Mary herself and maybe possibly. And, again, you're ripe for possession later. You've broken a seal.
Get possessed? Maybe.
In case you're wondering, I haven't seen any impact on any earlier Truth or Dare questions that have the blooming icon, but the impact would be minimal, if any. Continuing on to chapter 21, you got a few things going on here, actually quite a few things going on. Most of these appear to only give points toward Kat's possession, so not choosing these will assist toward the Corey-driven mad path.
What do you think's down there?
So first off, the cat leaning side of things, you're going to want to pick Pandemonium. And when you're deciding kind of what to throw into the abyss, pick Sacrifice. You'll recognize these from the Cat Love Points video. So you're getting points toward Cat when you answer this and also toward, her possession.
Yeah.
If you're attempting a higher romance score with another girl and not Cat, you can choose gift or trade. The points here are minimal, so it's still possible to get the Cat possession path if you focus on other choices that have larger impact.
Let's do it.
Then, as the story flashes between that night and the next day, you have 5 dialogue opportunities with Corey. If you choose the more aggressive ones, that appears to give you 1 point towards that violent versus non-violent score that you see in the results screen. In fact, this is how I determined the impact of all previous choices we discussed. I could easily see one by one how adding one aggressive response at a time could impact the violent versus non-violent result. That combined with an isolated earlier choice demonstrated impact. All of these tests are, of course, visible in my testing spreadsheets, available as a gift to channel members. And whether each individual one of these points or just the collective violent or non-violent applies to your ending, something around this has to do with whether Cat or Corey is harnessing the abyss here. But for each of these dialogues, the more aggressive choices will help that Cat path. And then if you pick the opposite choice in each of those options or stayed silent through that entire thing, which you can do, then it leans more into the Corey path.
I'm not gonna hold back.
Still in chapter 21, you have a final choice, a major one, a big one, and it has a lot of points associated with it. If you want the Corey path, make sure to pick I wish to be free. If you want the Cat path, make sure to pick I wish to be strong. Again, it's not required. It's just going to be harder to get there if you don't pick kind of these larger point values. And this is the exact point to check how you're doing so far. If you're headed down the Cat possession path, she's going to attack Corey right here. You'll also get that violent result in the tape 1 result screen. And if you're on the Corey path, she's only going to threaten him here, and you'll get the non-violent result on the screen.
You made a big mistake.
Note that in all of my testing, I only got Cat possessed if I also had a violent result here. Corey was easier to flip, but I never saw it for Cat. So if this result doesn't match your ending desires, I would recommend going back and changing some of your earlier choices. Okay, this next one is in chapter 24. It's using the fire extinguisher to break the lock. Now, there isn't a blooming icon here, which isn't consistent with the other choices, but it definitely has lasting effects. It's also quite naughty, aggressive, and risky, so it just makes sense that it would apply to the Cat path.
Smash it, Swan. Do it.
The points seem to be pretty minimal though, and so while I have seen indicators that it steers it one way or the other, again, it's hard to tell because it depends on where the other choices, what their points are worth or not. Still in chapter 24, after you put that last sticker on the phone, Corey's gonna approach you, and this is actually a checkpoint here as well. If you're leaning more toward the Corey side of things, the non-possessed side, you're going to have the we're just hanging out option. If you're leaning more towards the Cat side of things, the possession path, you're going to have the buzz off option. And this actually seems like it makes a big difference in terms of score. So I would definitely make the right choice here. Pick buzz off if it's Cat. Buzz off is definitely ideal, but if you don't have that option, pick shut up for the Cat path instead. If you prefer the Corey path, choose we're just hanging out. But if you don't have that option, pick what does it look like? Now, in tape 2, we have quite an interesting one to discuss. Testing has shown in chapter 4 that telling Dylan this is stupid instead of apologizing, not doing the interview, and or failing the interview will assist in the more aggressive Cat path. while making it all the way to this blooming icon and choosing "Are you sure Corey's the one?" will assist in the Corey path. Saying that, in order to get the 1995 ending where Kat and Dylan push Corey, Kat must be possessed, and you must choose "Are you sure Corey's the one?" Quite the challenge. With this in mind, if you're going for that specific 1995 ending, make sure to choose most, if not all, the Kat path choices we've discussed today, except for this one. Because if your possession score is too low, that ending will not be possible. Okay, we're gonna skip a long way into Tape 2, Chapter 12. Now, there are plenty of choices before that I do think help kind of steer this in Kat or Corey's direction. Yes, I have tested these without conclusive results. After comparing the impact with telling you what I already know with many more months of testing, I determined it was probably more beneficial to give you this information now. Since I didn't see a change in result, my assumption is that these choices have a minimal impact, if any. And Chapter 12 of Tape 2 is actually really fun because there's actually a little bit of a game bug, or maybe not a bug, but just like a misplacement of a checkpoint in the game that actually really helped me with testing. I'll explain that in a minute. But first, the checkpoint at the beginning of Chapter 12 is related to Swan's mask color.
Yes.
If Swan's mask is greenish yellowish, then you're on that Corey path. If it is more reddish purplish, then you're on the Kat, possessable path. And don't worry, if your score is very, very close between two paths, it is possible to flip based on the choices made in this scene. Next, you have a choice of how to vandalize the ranch. Yes, and while you would assume that these violent choices would contribute to the Kat path, I have not seen a mostly violent result contribute much, if anything at all, to her possession. Still, it is logical, it does, so feel free to make the violent or non-violent choices as you desire.
Bored now.
But then the scene will continue right after that, and you do have a choice that shows a blooming icon who is going to set fire to the deer statue. And, if you say that you'll do it, it kind of seems like you're being nice, like you're making a kind choice, because Kat is clearly should not be around fire right now. However, you're also setting fire to a building. And as we learned in Tape 1, Swan taking control contributes to the Kat path. If you want the Kat path, choose "I'll do it."
I'll do it for you, Kat.
If you want the Corey path, let Kat do it.
Just let Kat do it.
And this is a big one, folks. I'm seeing a very large difference between paths based on this choice alone. And the potential coding issue helped me see it. In the middle of this, if your score is super close, really close between Kat and Corey's paths, the color of Swan's masks will actually change in real time shortly after making the choice about who burns the statue. So what I mean is if when scene 12 started, you had a green mask, and then you made some kind of darker choices, and you said, "I will burn the statue down," it might switch to red, and vice versa. If it started red, it could flip to green. I submitted a bug report, of course, but not until my testing was complete. Now, after this scene, there is the opportunity to potentially stab Corey. You would assume this would contribute to the Kat path, but I haven't seen that to be the case. Note, this happens after the lock is sealed and their magic is solidified. So I think the ending has already been determined before this happens. Okay, and that's it, because then you're in the scene where it all happens, and then you get to see not a checkpoint, but the actual results of what you did. This path, these points, this something. Let me know in the comments what you want to call these paths. I haven't found a good description. And don't nod if you're watching. Please tell me what you talk about them in-house, because it has to be something. And I'd really like to refer to the paths by their correct name. All right, talk to you later. Goodbye.